We have Serge Michel back on the line here. I'd like to ask him about this whole issue of Chinese living in Africa. Your book estimates that somewhere between 500,000 and 750,000 Chinese now reside in Africa, a larger population even than French residents in Africa. What has been the impact of this massive migration in recent years to the African continent?
Well, I agree with what your previous interlocutor said about democracy. It should be aim number one. The problem is that it's not the case. It's not happening like this. And the problem is that the West was the advocate of this democracy blueprint and has disappointed Africa a lot by not investing enough, by not, by pulling back at the end of the Clinton years. There was a large pullback from the United States. So somehow the Chinese came when nobody wanted to go to Africa, and they imposed another model. It's very true. It's not based on democracy. It is based on other things, and it can work as well, but with many dangers. Of course, the thing is that it's too late now to say to think wishful thinking. Democracy is better than just Chinese investment. Now the Chinese are there. They are there in large numbers, as you said, 500,000 or 750,000 people. And they are doing everything. They are impacting the societies, like they have replaced some segments of the business. In Cameroon, they are the street sellers. In Dakar, they have a lot of shops. In Zambia, they are farmers and they are miners. So they have really taken a big asset already.
And Serge, before we lost you for a moment there, that story of China and Osama bin Laden.
Yeah, no, we were driving from Khartoum to Port Sudan, and that road was, as we heard there, was started building by Osama bin Laden as a gift, as a thank you for the Sudanese government, because he was hosted there when he was a refugee in Sudan, and he later had to leave after the American attack on Sudan, and he went to Afghanistan to develop other projects than civil engineering, and the road was left like this. And Osama, his father had a large building company in Saudi Arabia, so he had capacity to build the road. But then the road was left, and a few years later, Chinese came to Sudan massively. That was in 95, 96, and they just continued the road. And now they are even building a railway just parallel to that road. It's a road that is cutting short the way from Sudan from Khartoum to Port Sudan by 400 kilometers. So it's really an asset for the country.
Well, Serge Michel, we want to thank you very much for being with us. But a quick 30 seconds on another issue entirely. You won France's top journalistic prize, the Albert Londres Prize, for your coverage of Iran. And I'd just like to get a quick response from you on what is happening in Iran right now.
A very heavy repression is happening in Tehran, but it will not make an end. I mean, something has started. I've been there the whole month of June, and I've witnessed an extraordinary revival of the spirits in Iran. I was a bit desperate because Iranians, last years, they were feeling well with just pursuing a private happiness and not being so much into the political and the intellectual debate. Now they are back on that. The people are really determined to obtain some rights, and it's not the repression, even if it's very cruel, even if it leaves many more bodies on the ground. It's not the repression that will end it. Iran has always been at the avant-garde of the revolution and democracy's quest. I mean, there was a constitutional revolution 100 years ago. There was the oil nationalization in '53, and Iran will continue to pursue this quest for freedom.
I want to thank you for being with us, Serge Michel, West Africa correspondent for the French newspaper Le Monde, co-author of China Safari on the Trail of Beijing's Expansion in Africa. And thank you also to Nii Akuetteh, independent Africa policy analyst, former executive director of Africa Action, speaking to us from Washington, D.C. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. Back in a minute.